Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. My name is Bob Surintz. I'm a member of this congregation and its sanctuary choir. This morning we will be welcoming a procession of ordained ministers and religious professionals, both in person and on Zoom. Because of this virtual procession, we are not able to have lyrics on the screen for this hymn. They can be found in the hymnal and on the order of service. And now please rise as you are willing and able and join us in singing our processional hymn 361, found in the great hymnal, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Sunday morning, everyone. So wonderful to see all of you here. My name is Jen Youngsun Rue, and I use the pronouns she and her. Today I'm wearing a white stole with my UU Ministers Association stole. Welcome to this celebration of Unitarian Universalist ministry. Welcome to this ordination ceremony. All of our ministers are here. All of the UUCE ministers are here. Minister Emerita Lois Leer. We've got our affiliated community minister, Dennis Reynolds. And we have our two most recent ministerial interns, Tina Dio, and of course, our ordinand, Jennifer Hackett. I want to also extend a warm welcome to, oh, they're gone. Well, you saw them up there. They are our minister colleagues who have joined us on Zoom, especially the Reverend Carlton Elliott Smith, who is the regional lead for the Pacific Western region of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And then I believe that Jennifer brought a whole bunch of people from her family today, yes? So welcome, 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 welcome. Now, if today just happens to be the first time that you have ever come to this church, I'm sad to say that we don't always have a rainbow ribbon procession, but maybe we'll do it more often now that we have these, right? So welcome to all of the first-time visitors, and for all of our friends joining on Zoom, hello. We love all of you. If you are a first-time visitor on Zoom, you can fill out a visitor form, and it's being dropped into the chat right now. If you're here live and in person with us, you can join us right after the service in our welcome room, and that's the room in our south foyer. It's in that direction. This is for longtime members and first-time visitors. It's a great way to get to know people in a smaller and quieter space. So again, for people on Zoom, we're really glad you're here. I encourage you to use the chat feature on Zoom to write your appreciations and your prayers for Jennifer today, and we'll print out the transcript and send it to her. So after the service today, we have the welcome room over there. We are also going to have a wonderfully delicious reception. I've been looking at all the food coming in all morning, so please stay for that and enjoy that. And as always, I just want to remind you that our chapel right across the hall there is reserved for those who may find a larger crowd and noises and bright lights to be uncomfortable. So we call this the low stim room. And you won't miss anything in there because we've got a TV and it's streaming the service live, but all the lights are turned off and it's just a kind of quieter, calmer space in there. So please make yourself at home here. Move around as you need to, get up, walk around, do whatever you need to do. This is a place of healing. This is a place of deep care and love for the earth and for one another. Today's order of service, the program, is a little longer than usual. It lists everybody's name who was involved in this service, and it also includes a short greeting from Jennifer Hackett, just giving you an update about her current ministry. So you can use your phone to scan the QR codes that are around the room here, or you can also use your phone to go to our website. Kat Johnson has redesigned our homepage, and if you go to the homepage, you can find the link to the program, to today's program. It'll be right there, okay? So let us prepare ourselves to create together a time and a place for Spirit to move. Within our faith tradition, ordination is about holy mystery, in which we understand ourselves as a fully Unitarian Universalist congregation, carrying forward the rituals which still convey such deep meaning for us. We do not require an intermediary or higher human authority to acknowledge the workings of the Spirit. It is we, the members of this congregation, we are the sole authority. So come, let us make ministry together. Come, let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting today is Tilted Shared Light, Shared the Future, and is written by Josh Prudence and Percival Robin. We are flames when we gather hand in hand, our church, our community, our home. We inspire, we celebrate, we come together, sharing our hope and light of our shared future.
And now, let's say together the words of the mission of this church, which affirm our shared purpose. Empowered by love, we transform ourselves and serve our world.
Who doesn't love to start the day with a little Kermit the Frog? Oh, man. Good morning, lovely people. My name is Ryan Doppelmayr. My pronouns are she, her. I'm wearing a green dress and a black sweater, and I'm the director of faith formation here. And I am not going to tell a story today, but I am going to invite up any kids or adults or elders or anyone who would like to hear a story from some lovely folks to come on up. And I'm going to offer a lovely, cozy, well, you know what? I don't know if we need carpet squares. We have our beautiful chalice rugs here that are plenty nice. because I'm not going to tell a story, but I do have a wonder box today, and I wonder if anyone can guess what might be inside. Because we are a church that loves to question and wonder and investigate. So, Again, let you know right off the bat, no live animals are in the wonder box. Does anyone have any idea what might be in here? Any guesses? I'm sorry, what was that one? A sign-up sheet for RE? Oh, good idea. But no, not today. I'll be thinking about that one. Do you have a guess?
Is it confetti?
Oh, confetti is fun, but maybe December 31st there will be.
No.
Any other guesses? Yes.
Definitely something.
Definitely something. Yep, good guess. I'm gonna give you a hint now. So today is kind of a really special day because someone who's been working really hard for a really long time to learn how to minister and help people and listen to people and stand up for justice and doing all these amazing things is officially a minister today. And so it might be a symbol that has something to do with being a minister. I think I just gave it away. Silas.
Is it a chalice?
A chalice would be an excellent guess. Ash.
I think it. I think it might be like a bunch of real animals. Maybe like a mini poodle.
Not any kind of animal at all. Yes.
Cross.
A cross. Perhaps in a different church it would be a cross. Do you want to pull that out and show what that is? What is that? Oh my goodness, Beans, can I take a look? Do you know what this is?
A scarf.
Well, it could be used as a scarf, but actually, can I show you what it does? We actually don't wrap it around our necks. We wear it like this over our shoulders. It is a symbol. It is a stole. It is a symbol of someone who has chosen their path to be a minister. That means their job is to help people find their truth, to help people who are feeling some pain, to teach people and to learn and listen from people. And wow, that's a big job. And it takes a long time of studying and working and listening to do that. So today we are here to congratulate this fine lady up here who's going to add Reverend in front of her name today. Yeah, and it has been a long, winding road to get here, and her two kids are going to read us a story about that.
For our meditation today, we are using the words of Gordon B. McKeeman. Ministry is all that we do together. Ministry is that quality of being in community that affirms human dignity, beckons forth hidden possibilities, invites us into deeper, more constant, reverent relationships, and carries forward our heritage of hope and liberation. Ministry is what we do together as we celebrate triumphs of our human spirit, miracles of birth and life, wonders of devotion and sacrifice. Ministry is what we do together with one another in terror and torment, in grief, misery, and pain, enabling us in the presence of death to say yes to life. We who minister speak and live the best we know with full knowledge that it is never quite enough, and yet are reassured by lostness found, fragments reunited, wounds healed, and joy shared. Ministry is what we all do together.
My name is Tina Dio. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of the past ministerial interns from this church, as well as Jennifer. Today is a celebration of the strength in community, and this is what that reading is about. This is a reading entitled Community Means Strength by Starhawk. We are all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned. We can only catch glimpses of it from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing. A circle of friends. Some place where we can be free.
A few weeks ago, I stumbled on an article about ministry that was making the clergy rounds. It was titled, "Departure, Why I Left the Church." It was written by the Reverend Alexander Lane, a Presbyterian minister. He wasn't just leaving his congregation. He was leaving congregational ministry behind altogether. He wrote, "I have become part of what is known as the Great Pastor Resignation that came in the wake of the pandemic. Barna did a national survey of pastors, and as of March 2022, 42% of pastors considered quitting. The reasons for this are myriad, but the top 5 reasons given are as following. Number 1, at 56%, the immense stress of the job. Number 2, 43% of us said they felt lonely and isolated. Number 3 cited current political divisions. That was 38% of us. Number 4, I am unhappy with the effects this role has had on my family. 29%. Number 5, I am not optimistic about the future of my church. 29%. He goes on to list 4 reasons that contribute to many ministers' decisions to leave the pastorate. Number 1, you have 1,000 bosses. Technically, the minister is responsible to the Board of Trustees. But in reality, anyone and everyone who comes through the doors of this church or any church are the boss of us. I was told that if you piss off 50% of the people all the time, you know you're doing your job. And I gotta say, not so much. Because if you piss off even 10% of the people, there may be a move afoot to oust you. The expectation is that we will be all things to all people all of the time. Impossible. Number 2, unrealistic expectations. Ministers are expected to be professional speakers, CEOs. I didn't even know what that word was when I was in seminary. Counselors, fundraisers, human resource directors, which used to be called personnel, master of ceremonies, pillars of virtue. What does that even mean, to be a pillar of virtue? So ding, 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 we fail, we fail, we fail, we fail. Number 3, unseen damage. Lang writes, as the pastor, I felt like a punching bag. And no matter how much abuse was thrown my way, I simply had to grin and bear it. Why is it that people in churches are allowed to act out in ways that no other institution tolerates? Now, when I said that to a colleague, she said, except for the family. In 2013, the UUA, in collaboration with the UU Ministers Association, published a booklet called Fulfilling the Call. The booklet identifies 9 areas of ministry every minister should be engaged in. It scared the heck out of me. Why? Because the expectations it set up were, and I still believe, impossible to meet and still be a functioning human being. Here is the section titled, Leads the Faith into the Future. Are you ready? Champions a vision of a multicultural, multi-generational, and diverse Unitarian Universalism. Promotes leadership opportunities for youth and young adults. Expands the boundaries of Unitarian Universalist community through the use of evolving social media, virtual community outreach missions, etc. Cultivates culture and practices of radical hospitality. Promotes new ways of expressing Unitarian Universalism. And in other words, has house churches, revivals, satellite congregations, prioritizes recruitment of new ministers, serves as a field education and/or internship supervisor, mentors seminarians and new colleagues to develop their potential, promotes Unitarian Universalist values through leadership in nonprofit organizations and/or interfaith alliances, inspires the institution to connect with and mentor other UU institutions, creates new revenue streams. Listen to this, new forms of membership, marketing of UU products. Now remember this, I kid you not. Have you read? Yeah, okay. Just remember, this is one of 9 areas that we're supposed to be proficient in, actually very competent in. And each area you get to check. Strength, satisfactory, area for growth, weakness, not observed. And I would say to you that most of ministry that clergy do is not observable. It's supposed to be used for this, they said in 2013, for people who are considering ministry, probably to scare them away, for those who are in seminary, for new ministers, for ministers who have been many years in ministry, it can be used by churches to evaluate the clergy, which runs the risk, my friends, of being turned into a weapon. I just have to share this other area of competency with you. Its name is Pursues Personal Renewal and Professional Development. Makes time for family, friends, and acquaintances. Maintains intimate or meaningful relationships. Takes time off. Vacations, study leave, Sabbath days, and sabbaticals. Meets as needed with therapists, counselors, spiritual directors. Joins professional associations, attends UUMA gatherings and national gatherings, eats a healthy diet. Visits doctors and dentists regularly. Engages in, I kid you not, okay? This is true. Engages in regular exercise, gets an adequate amount of sleep. Engages in recreational, cultural, and social activities. Models physical, spiritual, emotional, and sexual health. I'm just so not sure about that last one. Manages financial security. Yeah, right. How much debt did the clergy come out of seminary with? Let's talk about that. Integrates new knowledge and skills into ministry, like that's going to be received well. Applies ongoing learning related to issues of privilege and power. And I thought, surely they see the irony in this. What clergy person has time for even a fraction of this? Oh, I forgot to tell you, for every minute that you preach a sermon, you're supposed to spend 1 hour in prep. For most of us, that would be 20 hours a week. And then do all these other things. A colleague and I were discussing this document this tool. She said, you know what? I just want to be a good minister. Why do I have to be a great minister? The Methodist Church hired Duke University several years ago to do a study of clergy. The study found that many of us are in poor physical health, depressed, addicted, burned out, and have seen our marriages crumble. The UUA and the UUMA responded by offering a course called Deepening. Those of us in this course gathered for 4 times over 2 years, and they brought in financial folks. They brought in a yoga teacher. They had us do all kinds of stuff. We talked about the gifts and the challenges of ministry. We talked about how to find balance in work and home, how not to succumb to the demands of ministry in its current form. And they sorted us into cohorts by the amount of years we had under our belt in ministry. And one of the colleagues in my group concluded that there was simply no way to find a balanced life in ministry. He was divorced by the end of the class. Yes, sacrifices need to be made in ministry, but we don't need any more martyrs to the cause of ministry. Number 4, growth versus a fixed mindset. I bet you know what's coming. And Lang defines a growth mindset as a person being willing to take chances, to learn new things, and is not afraid to fail. Conversely, people with fixed mindsets don't like to be challenged. This plays out as, but we've always done it this way. And I'm going to add to that, be careful what you think you have asked for, because you might get it, and realize that you really don't want to have to change. There aren't a whole lot of folks who just love change, because we long for the comfort of the familiar, even when it does us a disservice. As the minister, there is the unspoken expectation that you will offer hope when there is no hope to be found, when it doesn't reside in you. To make meaning out of the world's meaninglessness when you can't find meaning. To sit answerless before those suffering because there is no why to the suffering. To absorb their pain and their rage, to speak only of the how, to move them to the other side of why, to how to survive the impossible things that happen to us. We are asked to find the right words, the truthful words pulled out of nowhere to explain the unexplainable to children's questions, because we need to be honest with children. We're expected to feel compassion when our first instinct is to feel pity. To come up with even one shred of something that folks can believe in and hold on to when all faith and all comfort has been stripped away. To sit in the presence of personal demons, giving them their due, but to then excommunicate them from the hearts and minds and souls of people who are being tormented by them, to clear space for angels to reside. So, am I going to be happy with the fact that somebody asked me to teach intellectual treatises? Or was I somehow able to have a presence at your deathbed, to take away the fear, to take away the regret, so that you would not cling to life tenaciously, but let go and enter death with acceptance? These expectations, though burdensome at times, are what ministry should be focused on, of how we should be evaluated. Now, given what I've said, you may wonder why anyone want to pursue ministry as a profession. They do so because they cannot do otherwise. Not because they aren't capable of other professions, because many of those in ministry now are in their second or third careers. It doesn't mean they failed at those careers either. But a call has taken a hold of them and will not let them go. Persons like Jennifer chose ministry in our tradition because they believe in its good news, its power when it's unimpeded by human ego, to liberate and to save. And God knows we all need some saving right now. Listening to me, you may be thinking, wow, she is bitter about ministry. She doesn't like congregations. She doesn't like Unitarian Universalism. Yeah, I mean, it's true. A retirement agrees with me. But I gotta say, to the contrary, I loved ministry. I loved the congregations I was privileged to serve. I love this faith, and that love is what has driven me to say these things to you this morning. Because I do believe that Unitarian Universalism saves lives. When people hear about our tradition, they think it's some new religion. Nope. The theological ideas that our tradition was founded on, they date back to 250 AD. We call our faith a living tradition, which means it reshapes itself, redefines itself, and reinvents itself again and again, informed by revelations from academic disciplines and the spiritual life. And we are in such a time right now. A time of reshaping, redefining, and reinventing. We are in that in-between place of what was and what has yet to come. Of welcoming in ideas or concepts that have lived on the outskirts of Unitarian Universalism. If ministry is to survive, it needs to move a few things that have been pushed from the side to the center, not the least of which is centering the voices of BIPOC folk, transgender persons, and disabled people at all levels of our faith. Ministry is at times an individual leading a congregation where it said it wanted to go. There's this minister holding a flaming torch, leading away in a proverbial darkness. The question is, are we interested in a growth mindset or a fixed one? If a congregation chooses the latter, my fear is that any minister who serves them will be doing hospice work. Effective and sustainable ministry happens when clergy share the ministry with lay people. It needs at its core mutual trust, reciprocity, and respect. It's a partnership. It is shared. It must be able to tolerate hard truths and hard questions. Ministry is not something that's done to a congregation or to a community. It is invited and then offered as a gift. Ministry is also collective response or action by a congregation. It's not the sole purview of clergy. This Lone Ranger nonsense about clergy, that form of ministry is dead. May it rest not in peace. Not in peace. It was a horrible form. What's that saying? True leaders are those in whose presence other leaders are born. And those of you who are members of this congregation, do not sit back and let ministers claim ministry for ourselves. Some of us may be ordained clergy, but each one of you has the capacity to minister. Ministers, churches, ministries are stronger when lived out as shared, as partnerships. The future of ministry, it doesn't belong to my generation. We're dinosaurs. Ministry belongs to those choosing ministry today, who are questioning the old models. And my job, it's to fall in line behind them. The questions asked me by interns like Jennifer have taught me that both ministry and churches have to change enough. We have to be brave enough that our faith may go forward. New models of ministry, they've already been breaking forth all around us. My question to all of you is, are you brave enough to partner with clergy who are bringing these new models that humanize ministry? My question to you is, are you brave enough to set ministry free? My question to all of you is, are you brave enough to adopt a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset? Are you brave enough to set church free? I'm not suggesting that we throw the baby out with the bathwater with either ministry or church. Rather, that we take what is life-giving, what is affirming and sustainable from each, and use them as the foundation for a new model of church and ministry. Change or die was my mantra in my last year of ministry. It didn't make me very popular. Are we, as you use, brave enough to change, to bring this faith into the future, or will we let it die? The answer to that question lies with you.
Thank you. I am Jones David Hollister. I am a white, disabled, non-binary trans man wearing my customary tie and suspenders. I'm joining you via Zoom from rural Oregon, where it is beautiful and complicated. And I am so very pleased to be a part of today. An ordination is a spiritual event of great magnitude, both in the life of the individual ordained and in the communal life of our congregation and our faith tradition. Within the Unitarian Universalist tradition, the authority to confer ordination lies wholly with the local congregation. Thus, will this assembled congregation please rise in body or in spirit as you are able, so that we may ordain Jennifer Hackett. Jennifer, please join us at the pulpit. Jennifer, it is with joy and an appreciation of our responsibility that we recognize your call to Unitarian Universalist ministry as your life's vocation. Among us and wherever you are called to serve in the future, we would have you speak the truth in love, ministering to those you accompany in their times of grief and grace, tending to your soul while guiding others on their spiritual journey. In accordance with the principles of our free faith, we would have you dedicate yourself to the highest values of life in fostering love, compassion, and justice in yourself, with us, and in the world. Jennifer, are you ready to enter into this covenant of ministry?
I am.
Family, friends, members of this assembled congregation, please join me in saying the words of ordination as they appear on the screen. We do hereby ordain you, Jennifer Ann Hackett, to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. We charge you to serve and lead in the spirit of compassion and reconciliation, and to journey a pilgrim's path with hope and gratitude. We have supported you in ministry and walked with you in the spirit of love, respect, and trust, in the spirit of our covenant. This covenant has bound us together and binds us to the living tradition of our liberal faith.
With a deep sense of obligation and gratitude, I joyfully enter into the Unitarian Universalist ministry for which you have ordained me. Thank you for this confidence and trust. I pledge to spend my days nurturing people to live joyful lives so that their love will make a positive difference in the world. This is my sacred vow, witnessed this day by you all and by all that is holy.
You may be seated. Will Jennifer's internship You are a gift to this world of ministry and our faith. Will Jennifer's internship committee members please come forward for the presentation of the stole?
Reverend Jennifer. This stole is a gift to you from this congregation. It signifies and celebrates the importance of this transition. It was made with love by Sigrid Reinhardt and me. We put the flaming chalice on one side to represent your dedication to our Unitarian Universalist values and faith. On the other side, we put hands gently holding our Mother Earth to represent your commitment to healing this precious planet through I'm such a crier. Through environmental and racial justice. On the inside, please show the inside, are messages to you from congregants, blessings and messages of love. We hope that when you wear this stole, you will be reminded of the love that you will carry with you into your ministry.
Reverend Jennifer. I want to say that again. Reverend Jennifer. It's my honor and my privilege to gather in this place to invite you into the collegial community of professional Unitarian Universalist ministers. As the message and the reading affirmed, ministry in this faith tradition is shared. Yet you have been called to a particular role in our collective endeavor. You're called to lead. To lead. Leadership in this tradition doesn't look like it does in other places. Ministers in this tradition do not stand before a congregation and offer a truth. We ask questions. We pose possibilities. I think an apt description of this kind of leadership is found in a metaphor often referenced in Judeo-Christian literature, that of a shepherd. Contrary to stories and nursery rhymes, a shepherd does not walk in front of a flock that, merrily follows behind him. In the real world, the shepherd follows the flock, standing with them as they confront dangers, helping guide them on the path forward. Ministers like shepherds nurture. And in this work of ministry, you absolutely must nurture yourself. Family is foundational in that, as is your own deep faith and the practices that affirm that within you. And there's a community, not least among it a community of fellow professional ministers. We are here for you. Lean in with us, lean on us, and lean into a tradition of which we are a part. Lean into the ancestors in ministry, because you are a part of a lineage that theologically goes back to, as we heard, the 3rd century, a ministry affirmed in the 16th century by one of the earlier adopters of that name, Unitarian, Francis David, who established a central tenet to our faith. We need not think alike to love alike. To love. Love is what empowers this faith. Love is what empowers congregants and ministry. Lean into that love. That love will hold you. That love that's existed since before the beginning will forever be present with you and amongst us all. Count on that love. Be sustained by that love. Share that love and proclaim it to the world. Reverend Jennifer.
Hello, everybody. In our faith tradition, our relationships are voluntary and based on covenants that we make to each other. We form and sustain covenantal relationships through connection to ourselves, to each other, and to something greater than us. While ordination is a rite of passage for the ordinand, it is also a recognition of tradition and lineage, of connection to colleagues, to the larger community, and to the greater UU movement with its own history. Ordination is a recognition of something beyond that which beckons and calls us, and to an entire web of relationships. So we together will make a community web to bless Reverend Jennifer. You will have an opportunity to join our intercollected web either physically, or for those who prefer a little more physical distance, via the rainbow yarn, held by Christina and Molly May. For those on Zoom, we invite you to type a word of blessing to Jennifer into the chat and/or extend your hand toward your screen at home. We will invite family, ministers, and the congregation forward group by group to lay hands connecting us as one body, hand to shoulder or to yarn, bringing blessings to Reverend Jennifer and to all who join together, while also symbolizing the ancient line of congregations who join with us in a living tradition. If you prefer to be a part of the interconnected web by holding onto the rainbow yarn, we ask that when you are welcomed up, that you wave and an usher will bring you the yarn.
Join me in placing your hands over your heart. Feel its precious beating. Feel, too, the stirring of your spiritual heart, and let its compassion and wisdom radiate into your receiving hands. Hands, when in service to the human spirit, have the power to bless. with touch that heals, touch that comforts, hands, when pledged in covenant to serve our neighbor, have power to transform. Through service that strengthens, service that liberates, we, the ministering hands of our religious tradition and the ministering hands of this community, unite in our support of this minister called to be ordained today, Reverend Jennifer.
We invite Jennifer's family to come forward to lay hands upon her. They were first to bless her and raise her in faith, community, and support her into ministerial life. Next, she will need her ministerial colleagues to come forward, showing that she can rely upon her colleagues in her ministries, for they are connected through common vows. Now we ask the rest of the assembled body, the congregation who made space to train her into ministry, to join Reverend Jennifer's connected web. One, you can touch the person who's touching her and lie. Please come forward.
Let ours be praying hands, reaching out with the blessed energy rising in our souls and offering it freely in service to Rev Jennifer. May she find strength and beauty reflected back to her in her work. May she, empowered by this spiritual gift, give voice to the faith's inspiring message and be a sustaining presence bearing faithful witness to its vision. May she be sustained in her work, knowing that we and thousands of others are engaged in the work as well. We are not alone. We bless you in all that you will do in the service of what is right and good. Amen. Please, those of you that are on the rainbow yarn, just gently set it down and the ushers will come to collect it as we return to our seats. The rest of you, please do be mindful of your step as we untangle this web of love. Please be seated.
So I first heard about Jennifer Hackett from our former intern, Sarah Scotchko, now the Reverend Sarah Scotchko, who said, I just talked to this woman who said she's going to be the next intern in the Eugene church. And I was like, really? That's news to me. I haven't heard of her, you know? And the next day, I heard from her, and here she is. In our work together, we hired a coach to help us work on our own racism and systemic racism. And when the coach said, you know, what's your goal here? And Jennifer said, to end racism. And I was like, good luck with that. You know, I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking that, and I was impressed. It was far loftier ideal than I had. The other thing I want to say is that Jennifer had more thrown at her in her 1 year as an intern in this church than most ministers get thrown at them in a lifetime. And she met that challenge with her love of Excel spreadsheets, enthusiasm, and incredible capacity to organize, curiosity, good cheer, and humor. Thanks for keeping me in line. I only have a few notes to the self to share with you, Jennifer. The first being is to learn to accept the word no, not to play with it and to attack it and massage it until it somehow becomes a yes. The no's in our lives are as important as the yeses. In ministry, there will always be no's, and some of them will be devastating, but you got to allow them in. There's a quote in Judaism that says, "You're not required to finish the work, yet neither are you permitted to desist from it." Never give up your work or your desire to end racism and harm to BIPOC persons. Put that persistence of yours to work. Even at the end of your days, if you were only able to do less harm, you'll have lived a faith-filled life. Change ministry. Make it more gentle, more human, more forgiving, more boundaried, less colonialist and white supremacist, more realistic, more fair to all who choose it and to all who are the beneficiaries of it. Do not bow to years of expectations and projections. Along with your colleagues, make this living tradition of ours, this life-giving and life-saving faith, come alive in a new way. Know that I'm not the only one who has your back in this task, and don't give up. Today, as a newly ordained minister, you are being entrusted with the future of this faith. That is a privilege and a responsibility. Never forget that. As a minister, you're allowed into people's lives in a way that no other profession is. You will be asked to hold the human heart in all its pain and its joy over and over again. If you lose sight of that, your ministry will be bankrupt. For ours is a relational faith tradition. Jennifer, ministry has taken your carefully laid plans and stomped on them. Jennifer entered seminary 27 years ago. Want to talk about persistence? It's wiped that slate clean, Jennifer. It's tossed you this way and that, and it's shaken you to your core. It's disabused you of illusions. And that, too, is a gift. For it is from this point and this place that your ministry truly begins. Blessings upon you.
Good morning, members and friends of the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene, and congratulations on ordaining Reverend Jennifer Hackett into Unitarian Universalist ministry. Thank you, Reverend Jennifer, for inviting me to be a part of today's rejoicing. I'm Reverend Carlton E. Smith. I use he, him pronouns. I am with you from the unceded lands of the Northern Ute, the Southern Ute, the Mountain Ute, and the Mountain Ute peoples on what is now known as the city of Colorado Springs. I am a brown-skinned Black man with very close-cut hair who remembers a world full of rotary telephones, yet only 4 television networks, one of them being PBS. So I was in kindergarten when Kermit showed up on Sesame Street. I'm wearing a black robe and a stole that is made from an obi, which is a traditional Japanese sash. It is woven from threads that are purple, red, and golden. Behind me is a photograph of the balanced red rock formation against a bright blue sky in the Garden of the Gods, which is a few miles away from me, and I'm delighted to be with you all today. I have known Reverend Jennifer for several years now, going back to when she was in ministerial formation and a lay leader in the Southern region, as some of you know already, and I was a member of our Unitarian Universalist Association Southern region staff. Now I serve as the lead for the Pacific Western region, which means I lead the team that works with all of our UU congregations from the Rocky Mountain states and west, including Alaska and Hawaii, and a few further east than that. On that team is credentialed religious educator Annie Scott, who is the primary contact for UUCE. It's a privilege for me to be back with you again today. You may be asking, well, what's next now that we've ordained Reverend Jennifer? Is this the end of our responsibility? Well, not necessarily. Through your guidance, support, and partnership with Reverend Jennifer from the time of her internship through her tenure as your assistant minister, you've helped her arrive at this milestone in her ministry. By ordaining her, you brought her through the threshold, or over the rainbow, if you will, from ministerial candidate to ordained minister. You will celebrate that with her more in a few moments. So that's the yes part of the answer to the question, is this the end of our responsibility? However, it's the case that as Reverend Jennifer goes forward in her ministry, she will need to know that she still has your support and love and care. The bonds between you and her will naturally loosen because of distance and time, but you who are here now can always remember this day and lift up a prayer or light a candle or send a good thought in her direction. I charge you, therefore, UU Church in Eugene, to continue to hold Reverend Jennifer in your heart, regardless of the intervening miles and years. Furthermore, you are a teaching congregation, a place where an aspirant or candidate for ministry in Unitarian Universalism, like Reverend Jennifer, can come to learn and grow into their calling. This is a very consequential role. If not for congregations like the UU Church in Eugene, there would be no places for those following their vision of Unitarian Universalist ministry to test the waters, to train and observe great leaders like Reverend Jen and Reverend Lowe, and to become part of the communal life and share their strengths, hopes, and experiences with gathered communities like this. With this in mind, I charge you, UU Church of Eugene, to continue to be a congregation where ministerial aspirants and candidates can mature and grow and go deeper into their calling into Unitarian Universalist ministry. Of course, as a congregation, you don't exist in a vacuum. You're part of the larger community of Unitarian Universalist congregations and covenanting communities in the Pacific Northwest, in the Pacific Western region, in the United States and beyond. You are among liberal religious communities and non-religious communities seeking justice and striving toward human rights, inclusion, justice, and equity in our local communities and far beyond. I charge you, UU Church in Eugene, to continue to be one of those congregations that shines the light of love into the world, to continue to draw people into the circle of care by your example, embracing not just this beloved community, but also the community of all humankind. To hold Reverend Jennifer Hackett in your heart. To continue as a teaching congregation as you were for Reverend Jennifer and for many others. To shine the light of love into this community and out to the rest of the world. Members and friends of the UU Church in Eugene, do you accept this charge? If so, signify by saying, we do. May it be so. Amen, Amin, Ashe, and blessed be.
Thank you, Reverend Carlton. Our closing hymn today is most famous not for its driving pop rock feel or its beautiful melody, but actually for the change to its lyrics, previously standing on the side of love. the composer years ago suggested a change to ableist language to answering the call of love, which is what we call it today. Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 1014, Answering the Call of Love.
As our service comes to an end, I invite you to join me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please remain in your space until the processional has concluded, and I will be the last out. Your benediction. What a gift it is to be loved into being. What a gift it is to be seen for who you are. What a gift it is to be forgiven for your foibles. What a gift it is to be in community. May you receive these gifts as well and continue to make welcoming, life-giving ministry and ministers together as a community answering the call of love.